If you have not watched the other parts, please do that and then come back and watch this one. Hey guys, welcome to part 4 of this series. This part will deal with the aftermath of the Justice League teaming up. Spoilers ahead for all DCEU movies. The first movie of this part is Wonder Woman, not 84. I don't see why they're setting the events of their movie before the events of Justice League, but it is what it is. Anyway, this one is set after Justice League and is on Themyscira. I'm really going to try and kind of answer the question on why the other Justice League members are not in the solo movie. The movie starts with Diana helping out the rest of the Amazons to clean up the island after the attack from Steppenwolf. In the middle of putting everything back together again, Diana hears a scream in the middle of the woods. Diana runs off in that direction and comes across a body laying down on the ground. She slowly approaches, and once she gets close, she starts to realize that it looks animal-like. She goes to check on it, but when she does, the body springs up and attacks her. The animal person pushes Diana back into a tree. She says that her name used to be Dr. Barbara Ann, but now she is only known as Cheetah. She says that she is fascinated with ancient artifacts, and in all of her time she has seen nothing like Diana's lasso. Cheetah then backs off a little bit and screaming out as if she's in pain. Diana sees this as an opening and slams her braces together to blind Cheetah. Diana tries to get her back with the rest of the Amazons, but Cheetah gets back control and tries to attack Diana, and manages to get a scratch in, and Diana is surprised that it hurt her. A wounded and confused Diana takes off, running from Cheetah. I want this next part to be like a horror movie in a way, that all we see is Diana's facial expressions as she's running through the woods. We hear Barbara's voice scream different things at Diana, like the lasso is mine and nobody's going to help her, etc., those kind of things. Every time Diana tries and thinks that she knows where Cheetah is, she's wrong. The more she misses her punches, the more she gets more stressed out. Diana falls to her knees as if she is defeated, when all of a sudden she hears a similar voice. She looks up and sees Steve's face in the light. Steve tells her to get up and fight this, that she is a strong Amazon warrior, that she needs to use Steve's warrior instincts to fight this new challenge, because you are the daughter of the most powerful gods the world has ever known. Steve then leaves, and Diana gets up and does exactly as he said, and uses her fighting instincts. Once she does, she can sense that Cheetah is going after the lasso again. Diana grabs it as soon as Cheetah does, and it becomes a test to see who is stronger between the two. Cheetah starts to realize that she is losing this battle and tries to scratch Diana again. Diana grabs Cheetah's arm and slams her head first into a tree, knocking her out. Diana then ties the lasso around Cheetah. Diana uses the lasso to get Cheetah out in the open, and the rest of the Amazons doesn't know what they are seeing. Diana wakes Cheetah up and asks her who she is and how she got her powers. Because of the lasso, Cheetah explains everything by saying that she has heard stories about the lasso of truth, and because she couldn't believe that it existed, she had her time to find it. She manages to find it while Diana is using it on Steppenwolf. She follows Diana to this island, but before she could leave, she fell onto a piece of Steppenwolf equipment which absorbed into her skin, causing her to turn into the cheetah. And the more that she is in the cheetah form, the more it is going to take over. That is when she escapes the lasso and goes after the Queen of Themyscira. Cheetah manages to take her sword away from her and has it to her neck. Diana tries to reason with her, but not with Cheetah, but with Barbara. Diana says that she doesn't want to kill anyone, but all she wants to do is go on an exploration. Once she says that, it is starting to look like Barbara is taking back over. The Queen uses this opportunity to escape and get her sword back. Cheetah then takes back control and jumps away. Diana tries to go after her, but the Queen stops her and says that there is no need. Besides, they still have the sword and lasso, thankfully, and that's all that matters. The first post-credit scene is Lex approaching Cheetah. The second post-credit scene shows a group of people sitting around in a circle, and one of them says, "We will avenge you, Father," and then it shows a picture of Ares. The next movie is a Green Arrow movie. We see Oliver as, in the words of Batman, a teenage brat. The first scene shows Oliver in the archery club at the high school. We also see Oliver doing things that are very dangerous and reckless. However, one day he is walking with his school bow and arrow when he sees a cat stuck in a tree. He looks left and right to make sure no one's looking. He then climbs the tree and saves the cat. When it gets down, he looks over and sees Victor Stone. Victor tells him good job, and Oliver says that no one from school must know about this. Victor doesn't understand why, but he agrees to keep quiet. This shows that Oliver is a good guy deep down, but is worried about what other people might think of him. Then Oliver is driving a street race car around a track really fast. He accidentally causes the car to flip and crash. Oliver wakes up in a hospital bed with his parents at his bedside. After his mom makes sure that he is okay, she starts yelling at him about being safe and his friends that he's been hanging out with. Oliver snaps back at her, and this sets Maura into a fit of rage, but Robert stops her from doing anything. Maura pulls Robert outside to have a talk. While they're in the hallway talking, Oliver manages to sneak out of the window. The parents come in, and they realize that Oliver is gone. Oliver is stumbling around the streets, and he turns down an alleyway. He is trying to buy some drugs when he passes out. He wakes up again, and this time he's on a boat. Robert is sitting in front of him, waiting for Oliver to wake up. Robert says that his mom has decided that Oliver has done enough horrible actions, and for that, they are going to be on the boat for some father-son time. Then there is an explosion, and the boat crashes. Oliver and Robert survive on a lifeboat. Robert does everything he can to get them to land. However, a huge wave swallows Robert up and brings him out to sea right in front of Oliver's eyes. Oliver is trying to survive on the island. He manages to build his own bow and arrow using sticks so he can hunt food and practice his skills. One day, Oliver sees a boat and swims towards it. He climbs on board and quickly scopes it out. As he is sneaking around, he finds a girl laying down and helps her up. He wants them to take over the ship, but the girl is way too weak to fight, so reluctantly, Oliver gets her in a little boat that was attached to the ship, and they head back to the island. After a couple of days of Oliver taking care of her, she is back to full health after she shows him a secret technique that she knows about. She introduces herself as Shadow. She explains that she is the daughter of a man who teaches archery in his homeland of China, but was kidnapped by these guys so they can do tests on her. Oliver mentions that he is somewhat of an archer himself. Shadow says that the men on the ship took her bow and arrow and it's somewhere on the boat, and with Oliver's help, they can get her bow and arrow back and take over the ship. After Shadow teaches Oliver everything she knows, they go to take down the ship. Working together, they start taking down guys, but one of the guys takes a test tube and drinks the liquid inside. The guy starts to get bigger and his skin starts to turn red. He says his name is Danny Brickwell, but his friends call him Brick. Shadow and Oliver try to take Brick down, but nothing's working. Shadow rushes towards Brick against Oliver's advice. Brick grabs Shadow by the throat and crunches her windpipe, killing her instantly. Brick then throws Shadow over the edge to sea. Oliver goes into a fit of rage and starts shooting arrows at Brick. He then runs up and punches a Brick, making him fall to the sea as well. Oliver sees the hood that Shadow was wearing and puts it on. Oliver manages to get control of the ship, but looks and sees the next place that they are planning on going was Starling City. Oliver realizes that the city is in danger and he must protect it, and he drives to Starling City Harbor. He starts walking up the harbor and then turns on the street when he sees a cat in a tree and looks and sees a crying child beside the tree. He quickly jumps into the tree and receives the cat, then jumps down. He gives the kid the cat with a huge smile on his face. The movie ends with Oliver reuniting with his friends and family. He manages to get out in his hood and starts running the rooftops and stops looking over the city. But as he is running, there's a flash from a camera and it shows a woman watching Oliver. The post-credits scene is a helicopter flying over the sea next to the island and stops on top of Brick trying to swim. Brick is trying to get the helicopter to pick him up, but the man just shakes his head no and points to a lifeless body of Shadow. The helicopter gets Shadow out of the water and flies away, with Brick yelling at them to come back and pick him up. The final movie in this part is the sequel to Aquaman. With this movie, I want Arthur to have a little bit of a trouble with being the king of Atlantis. I also want Black Manta trying to destroy everything that has to do with Atlantis. Manta also has Dr. Shin, who is just following Manta around, kind of like a puppy who follows his owner around simply because Manta promised Shin a piece of Atlantis after it's destroyed to prove that it exists to the real world. Manta recruits the Trench, who are still upset about Arthur and Mera escaping from them in the first movie. Every time Arthur messes up as king, the Atlanteans lose a little bit of faith in him. So after Arthur goes to the shore for some time with his human friends, Black Manta attacks and tells him that he's coming to destroy Atlantis. Arthur doesn't have anyone to go to because the Atlanteans want him to prove himself as king. Arthur and Mera decide to go to Ocean Master to help. Mira throws out the idea that they should fight, and if Arthur wins, Orm has to help them fight Manta. Arthur wins, and Orm makes a joke saying that even though he doesn't like Arthur as king, he is going to still help because Atlantis should still stand, and he wanted to have a chance to fight Arthur again anyway. Orm also manages to recruit the Drift's army that he had to fight. The final fight of the movie is close to the shore because Shin convinces Manta to fight where the humans can see. The heroes manages to defeat Manta, and the Drift manages to defeat the Trench. Manta's blasters were destroyed in the fight, and he was thrown in Orm's cell, and Orm is able to be set free. Shin is made an enemy of Atlantis and is not allowed to come back without any proof of Atlantis' existence. All the Atlanteans now believe in Arthur being king. The first post-credit scene is to say that Black Manta is getting destroyed by a ship and then that ship taking Black Manta away. The second post-credit scene is the body of King Attilan waking up. Thanks for watching part 4. Please like, comment, and subscribe.